Right, Poppy. Here we go. Let's go. Let's do this thing, man. We got fives or tens of people ready to listen to this shit. Let's go. Let's get it done. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Still ready. Yep.
Okay.
Still ready.
And
Let's
got
go.
it.
It's up. Put on play pants.
All right, here we go. It's 69. I used to kill with that, bro. I was a bingo caller. 069. I got the old ladies cackling every time at the bingo hall. This is the Play Pants podcast. He's Jason Ginty. My name is Rod Ryan. And we got some stuff. We got some stuff lined up for episode 69. And we have never, I went back and looked. We've done our top 5 Christmas specials, which we all kind of agreed those were those puppets and the 30 minutes and the cartoons and the Charlie Browns and stuff.
Rudolph.
But we haven't done Christmas movies. And I'm not just like throwing it out there, but there is a movie that came out on this day 32 years ago. So I threw it over to you. You said, sure, let's do it. So our top 5 favorite Christmas movies. We've got some emails. We've got Thanksgiving just around the corner. And I do like to go back and look to see what we missed from last week's top 5 list. We had a lot of interaction this week, even brought that conversation to the air here in Houston.
I forgot what it was. Remind me.
Favorite closing credit songs.
Yeah, that was a tough one, dude. Like that, the more I thought about it, I'm like, and then I started seeing some of the comments roll in. I'm like, oh yeah, shit. Cause it's got to fit the mood of the movie. It's not like I love that song as the credits are playing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's that final, like, bam, hit you over the head. Here's what my emphasis on the movie was.
Yep. The one glowing where I just wanted to punch myself in the face was at the end of Miracle, Dream On.
Right.
So the song, time period wise, works. Dream On, those kids, and I say kids that played the 1980 men's Olympic hockey, the teenagers that beat the professionals from Russia and everyone. I mean, Dream On. It's one of the all-time great closers. I was getting this in all week, dude. I was getting them in all week.
So cool.
I would say that the hands down champion was Fight Club and that Pixie song at the end. Everyone just absolutely thinks that like that's the greatest ending ever. And the song matching up with the ending. And I don't even know the name of the song. I'm not a big Pixies guy, but Fight Club, Where Is My Mind by the Pixies. Aaron wrote that on our YouTube channel on the comment section. There were some ones that I felt like we missed, but those were the two bigs.
You know what I was thinking of, and it's a different Aerosmith song, but at the end of Dazed and Confused, Wooderson takes off. He goes to get those Aerosmith tickets, and they're playing an Aerosmith song, I believe, at the end. I don't know if it was Dream On or if it was something else, but I was like, that's not like really a home run, but it fits so well. It's not a favorite, but I thought it was cool the way it's like, oh, let's get some Aerosmith tickets. All right. And then they took off. I don't remember what that was. Should look that up, but didn't. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about because I misspoke because I thought they were going to get Pink Floyd tickets, but they were going to get Aerosmith tickets. But I thought they went. I don't feel the song matched at the end. I mean, go ahead. I'll ramble on. Please look that up because it's going to really bother me. For some reason, I'm living my life thinking that. I mean, I think I said it out loud. Obviously, I was very passionate about this topic last week.
Yeah.
I felt like they were going for Aerosmith tickets, yet they were playing the wrong song. And if I wanted to guess, I would say they were playing Foghat to leave the movie.
Tuesday's Gone.
Okay.
No. That's not it. No. Hold on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You know how when you go to Google something, you get 15 different windows that pop up?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
But I think I've said out loud that it didn't match up with the tickets they were going to get. But I can't tell you what those things are.
Yeah. It's keep going. I'm fucking looking. It's gonna take me about 6 hours to figure it out, but let's keep rolling here. That was a good one.
Michael Martinez said Rushmore, and I mentioned that on the show yet last week that those are some of my favorite movies, and those songs that are in those movies, made by that director, The Faces, Ooh La La. It's a great ending. Many people brought up Full Metal Jacket. I love war movies. Full Metal Jacket goes out with Rolling Stones, Painted Black. Yeah. Top Gun goes back to the Righteous Brothers. You've Lost That Loving Feeling. It's pretty great. It is pretty great. Interview with a Vampire, Sympathy for the Devil. I heard that from more than one people, more than one person that listened to the podcast. And then they continued to give you shit because you talked about what a great movie that is. And then we talked about that song a week earlier. Dude,
you're right. We're going to go get Aerosmith tickets. They played Slow Ride from Foghat at the end.
Okay, so I'm not nuts.
Right. You were right. Yeah.
So I'm not crazy. I thought that was like a fucking really big missed opportunity right there.
And they played Sweet Emotion in the movie. It's not like they didn't already have a song from Aerosmith already on the docket. They played Aerosmith in it.
They could have copy and pasted that and moved it around. And I mean, here's me telling the director of a brilliant movie what to do. It was a missed opportunity.
It feels like it is, but maybe there's a statement there somehow he was making, because they don't just do that for no reason. Everything has got a reason. They don't just throw that shit in there. Slow Ride because maybe Wooderson was real slow and all right.
Well, they're riding to go get the tickets, So
I mean, it's a little goofy that, but anyway, who gives a shit? That's fine, man.
So thank you guys, man. I really love when you guys share your top fives. I got a suggestion for a top five today. Jimmy Johnson. I didn't know if you knew that Jimmy Johnson from NFL Fox Sunday Football,
or maybe it's the NASCAR driver.
Could be.
Wow.
Brother Rod, sock, shoe, shoe.
Son of a bitch, everybody. Jesus.
Yeah. So I'm an avid Play Pants listener, and I want to say you guys always have me laughing and researching / listening to the topics you and Jason discuss.
That's awesome.
I have listened to all but last week's, and that will probably happen this afternoon. Hopefully my memory is correct and you haven't done this, but if I may, a suggestion on the top 5 for Oasis songs. You guys always provide solid insight and deep tracks. Keep up the badass work you do for the city with the buzz and on your podcast. Thank you, Jimmy Johnson.
Not bad.
I'd be down for an Oasis. And I feel like I kind of feel like you probably have a better appreciation for Oasis now than you did when it was happening. That's at least my story. While it was happening, and, watching the documentary and they're saying, man, it was biblical. It wasn't biblical for me. I know they were big, but it just was another thing that was happening. I didn't dislike them, but I didn't overly love them. But now, God, I never saw them live. And that's one of the bands that I want to get back together most.
You think about the time, what the first album was like, 95, 96 when it comes out. Think about what's going on, man. There was so much coming at us, at least in our world, being in radio. It was just one thing after that. You're getting delivered all this music on a daily basis. I mean, holy shit, it was coming at you hard and fast, and playing the Oasis songs. I was like, holy shit, I just remember because back in the day, we're playing off a CD, and the CDs were produced. Those Oasis CDs were so loud. Like they were produced and on your compact disc louder than everything else in the library. Usually they're all kind of that's when the loudness war really started to get going with all the music, man. And I just remember that shit being so loud.
So the way to explain this, because you're dead on, we have something called a pot on the board on radio, and it's like the fader. It goes up and down, and you kind of just keep them all 3 locked on the same. You keep them all in a row, and then those are your 3 CD players.
Right.
When that Oasis CD played and you didn't move the pot, you were pegging those needles or the LEDs. You were smashing them in the red. You had to back it off.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, you're right. I remember getting even the single. I remember getting Morning Glory in. What's the story, Morning Glory? And I remember you and I, listening to it for the first time. There was that helicopter. It was very apocalyptic in the beginning.
Yep.
And I couldn't believe how great it was. I mean, it was awesome. But you're right. We were getting so much new music back then. We were adding 4 or 5 songs a week. We were just getting hit with new stuff for a good 6-year run there.
I do remember it being, I remember hearing it the first time, the first few times going, I like them, but it just feels like a thing that's going to kind of go on the way. It's going to be a passing thing that's going to kind of come through, because so many bands were just doing that. They're like, oh, you got these bands that come through. Oh, wow, cool. Spacehog, they're awesome. Okay, that was cool. One song, thank you, good night. There's a lot of that, not to shit on Spacehog, but there was a lot of bands like that at the time, just kind of one-hit wonders, two-hit deals. And I thought, yeah, it's just going to be these guys. And I remember also thinking, this just sounds like they really like the Beatles a lot. I think that's what everybody recognized out of the gate. But in all fairness, they wrote damn good songs. And you're right, going back and listening now, it's still really loud, but it's very, very cool. I've gone to appreciate it. And I think what really helped for me was they've used a couple songs in Ted Lasso. And the way they used them in the scenes, I was like, oh, shit, I forgot about that Oasis song, And it's like, there it is again. There's some other avenue throwing some great music at you. And it's like your guy, Jimmy Johnson, talking about he goes and researches shit. Well, that's kind of the idea. Like, we didn't set out for that to happen when we started this podcast, but I know that I'll do it. You're like, oh, you got to check this shit out. I'm like, what are you even talking about? We were roommates for years. I don't know that song. How the fuck do I not know that song? Or the movie. And I'm like, this is great. So the fact that other people are doing that same thing is kind of, that's the music is exploration. It really is, especially if you got an open mind, give a song a chance. Don't just go, oh, the first 30 seconds. Oh, this blows. I mean, now I'm a Harry Styles fan. Who knew that I'd be cranking Harry Styles at my house with everybody looking at me going, what happened to Dad?
Well, I hope you guys will continue to send that stuff along. I mean, the guy asked, I think we got to prove to the 6 people that listen to this thing that, okay, if you have a suggestion, we'll go through with it. We will absolutely do an Oasis top 5.
I think Oasis is great. And really what we should do is just and we won't, but I'm saying we should make a master list. Just go like the top 50 bands and just go down, just start checking them off, because we've done quite a few, but I think we could get Rolling Stones top 100 bands and just go. Skip a few. I'm not doing Joni Mitchell. I don't know who she is, but you get the idea. Got an email here from Greg Lilly, I believe is his name. He's like, hey, Rod, this comes through us. He slid into our DMs. You know what I mean? He slid into our DMs.
Thank you for sliding in. Really, I feel
hope
a little naked
before he did. Hey, Roddy, Jason, just finishing up the latest episode, 67, 68. Great as always. As you all go through your top 5s, I'm thinking of more top 5s. So this is right down in the wheelhouse.
Oh, awesome.
He's like, look, man, have you guys done top prison movies? And I don't know about you, and I'm pretty sure you love a prison movie like I love a prison movie.
I do.
He goes, top 5 prison movies. He goes, that would be a great one. I'm like, he goes, so many to choose from. Heist movies, like The Italian Job, Ocean's 11, that kind of thing. I'm like, oh, those are good.
Okay.
And then he starts hammering on actors. Have you done Tom Hanks? Have you done Denzel Washington movies? Top 5 car movies. You got The Cannonball Run, Smokey and the Bandit. I'm like, oh shit.
How did you not come up with top 5 car movies, jackass?
I really wasn't thinking about it, because I figured he actually expanded on it a little bit, so it was kind of cool. But yeah, I think we could do that too. So thank God for people listening to this podcast. The more everyone chimes in and gives us ideas, the less work we have to do. And at the end of the day, that's kind of the game we're after here right now. Less work on us. So keep sending in your ideas, any jokes, anything. Fire away, man. We'll take all the material we can steal at this point.
Well, I just stole something on Facebook this evening. And we didn't have to spend a whole lot of time on it, but I know you have this kind of this shared experience too, because I know you got this in your past. But I just happened to come across something, and I'll say this. Facebook, they suggest all this bullshit of all these people that I'm not friends with. All these different things are like, this is suggested for you. It's like, I'd like to know if my shit's being suggested to anybody that I don't know, because I don't feel like anyone has come to me saying, hey, man, Facebook suggested that I check you out. And you know what? It's awesome. But they sure are sending me a lot of stuff. So I don't remember where this came from. I just flat out ripped it off. The restaurant industry, the food and beverage industry, the hospitality industry is massive in New Orleans. Yeah. It's everything, and it's huge here. Okay. And I think it's pretty safe to say that it's kind of huge everywhere.
It has to be. Look at all the restaurants. You drive down that, everyone's got that strip of all those restaurants, the strip malls and shit. They're everywhere.
So I found this old picture of Anthony Bourdain. I don't know if it's his birthday. I don't know anything. And the quick story about this guy is I did get a chance to meet him once. It was in and out. Hi, bye, love you, take a picture. Not getting to know him at all. I didn't like him the first time I saw him on TV. I'm like, who's this douchebag walking around with sunglasses at night wearing a fucking scarf and a sport coat? Something about scarf guy. I feel like I can't hang out with a guy with a scarf on. And I've had friends that have worn them. And I'm not a winter scarf. I'm talking a scarf.
Like a cool,
like a fucking chick scarf,
you know? An LA, like rock star scarf.
Like a scarf. It's not cold outside scarf.
Steven Tyler scarf.
I'm like, who is this guy that thinks he's so cool? And then I watch him for a little bit and I'm like, oh shit, this guy's that cool.
Yeah, he can wear the scarf. Yeah,
you wear your fucking scarf, bro.
I'll send you a bunch. Yeah, he's a badass. I actually got to meet him one time. He was doing a book signing here in New Orleans, and it was part of an event. And he's doing the signing, so I got to kind of hang for a little while. And me and the wife got a picture taken with him and stuff. And super cool. I know, he's on the clock. When you're doing a book signing, you know how it is. When you're doing an appearance, you're shaking hands, you're smiley, happy guy, all right, but he was super cool to me and the wife and talked for, chit chatted, didn't get to be BFFs with the guy or anything, but he was cool, man. Just asking about New Orleans restaurants and stuff like that. What do you like to cook? And he was a cool dude. So, So continue. I want to get into this.
I read this quote today. And then I just kind of copy and pasted it. I totally ripped it off and stole it. And then I just put it on a couple of our Facebook pages. These are Anthony Bourdain's words. It says, you can always tell when a person has worked in a restaurant. There's an empathy that can only be cultivated by those who've stood between a hungry mouth and a $28 pork chop. A special understanding of the way a bunch of motley misfits can be a family. Service industry work develops the soft skills recruiters talk about on LinkedIn: discipline, promptness, the ability to absorb criticism, and most important, how to read people like a book. The work is thankless and fun and messy, and the world would be a kinder place if more people tried it. With all due respect to my former professors, I've long believed I gained more knowledge in kitchens, bars, dining rooms than any college could even hold. Anthony Bourdain. I grabbed that. I grabbed an old picture of him in the kitchen. I shared it on the Playpants Facebook page if you want to go take a look at this. And my original comment is, I've hired and fired people for years. And I've always shown favor to people that have worked in a restaurant. The one thing that I will go against, probably what recruiters will tell you if you're going for a job in radio. Okay, nobody cares about working the gap, but I would say, put that, if you have some restaurant experience, I can't be alone in this. I know that you're going for a professional job, and there comes a point where it's like, okay, you've got all this experience in that particular field. I'm talking to somebody a little bit younger that's trying to break into a field, and you're young enough. Don't feel that you've got to hide that restaurant experience. I cannot be the only one. I don't think anyone that worked at the Gap growing up is going to put a post out like this saying, the shared experiences of working at the Gap. It's a brotherhood. It's a sisterhood. It's not. I'm sure you got to deal with customers, and I'm sure there are some fun stories and like times, but there's something different about working in food service, in a restaurant, in a bar. There's something different about it. If you're young and you've got a resume, I'm going to tell you right now, put it on there. I favor people, especially when interns were coming in and out all the time. And I had my pick of any intern I wanted. I'll tell you right now, if it came down to two people that were both awesome and one of them worked in a restaurant, the restaurant person is getting the gig. It's just, it's that simple. You've been yelled at before. You've screamed at people before. You've been in the weeds before. And then guess what? You didn't get your feelings hurt and you all went out and partied afterwards. That's what you learn in a restaurant. That's it. That's the most important thing. You're in a restaurant. Everybody's fucking screaming at everyone. Yep. And then you're sitting down afterwards. You're going, whew, wow, that got crazy tonight, huh? Okay, let's go get some beers. And then you do it all again the next day. I want to work with that person. It's that simple.
Because you're, you know, not to use a goofy reference here, but you're like a bunch of pirates on a ship. You keep the ship floating. You keep going in the same direction. It doesn't matter if you ever watch a pile of ants and you fucking drip a little water on them and they fucking scatter and like, oh, fuck, there's water, shit. And they all go back and they get in their line and they get back to work. That's a restaurant. It's the scatter part. You're just fucking going, what the fuck? It looks, if you had an overhead view on a restaurant kitchen where waiters and waitresses are humming in and out, the dishwasher's spraying shit down, the cooks are cooking. If you could overhead cam that shit, like the big fucking camera in a football game that comes around, you could do that in a mini version in a restaurant, like in the kitchen, you would see some of the craziest fucking shit in the world because it's absolute chaos. My first job at 16 years old, I'm a busboy. I go in there day one on the job. I don't know fucking anything. I'm standing there with a tray in my hand. The chef goes, look, if you're just going to do nothing or just stand there, you might as well get the fuck out of here. Like,
that's how it is.
What am I supposed to fucking do? He goes, I don't know. There's fucking dirty dishes over there. I'm sure one of those waitresses is going to need some help. Go talk to somebody. Get the fucking work. I'm like,
It's just a little different because there's usually not an HR department at the restaurant. So people speak their minds a little more. And I'm sure it's changed over the years. And I'm sure that, you know, some of the things were completely inappropriate that went down at my restaurant. But I did 8 years. And it just got so crazy. And it's some of the best times in my life. And I thought, I'm just going to let Anthony Bourdain's words resonate because I can't say it as well as he did. But I think of people differently that work in a restaurant. I think you're better prepared for life. I do. I think you're a better person and you're better prepared for the world.
I think it helped us a lot. If you think about, if you want to go back and hear the whole story, go back to like episodes 1 and 2 of this podcast, and you can hear the whole damn story of how Rod and I got going. But if you think about it, I'm just thinking of this now. We do you did your restaurant thing. I was a few years in a restaurant, and then we both get our feet wet in radio. And think about the guys we worked with at the Fox in Buffalo. Okay, these were some dudes who'd been in it for a long time. They're all great. And we looked up to him like we worshiped him because we listened to him on the radio forever. Then our boss, Bob, he was a ball buster. And they were all ball breakers. They all were. But they were cool about it most of the time, but they were ball breakers. Had I not gone through my restaurant shit, I probably would have fucking caved at some point and been like, oh, these guys all fucking hate me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have had the balls. I wouldn't have had the tougher skin because I was
Yes.
soft. I was soft, you know? If it wasn't for the restaurant experience and then, you know, working in construction, that certainly helped too. I would not have had the stamina or I wouldn't have had the skin thick enough to stand up or to fight for those guys, for that job.
And I'm sure there's other jobs out there that you probably do feel like there's a brotherhood. And let me just get it out of the way right now. Listen, I'm in a restaurant, okay? I'm not serving. I'm not over in Afghanistan, anything like that, okay? That's a brotherhood and a sisterhood and a family that I don't know, but one that I really deeply respect. But I do know the restaurant business a little bit because then I got back into it, owning a bar. And, you know, I should have known better because you just can't half-ass it. You got to be there, you know? And I thought, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to like, you know, own a bar and then just kind of let people do. It's like, ugh, no, you got to do it. You got to roll up your sleeves and you have to be there. And that's how the owners of the restaurant. Now, I didn't work at a big, huge chain or anything like that. I worked at a mom pa type place. It was a small place, but it was busy. It was fast paced. And again, It was some of the funnest, best years of my working life, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I look back on it the way that guys will talk about their time in the service. When you're in the service, man, you're putting up with shit. I have heard from so many, and I'm fascinated, and I really enjoy talking to people that served. And you talk about it while you're doing it, it's bullshit. And this is everything. And this is same thing in a restaurant. But then you look back on it and you have these fond memories. And, I think, who is it? Norman Lear? Did he write Biloxi Blues?
I don't know who wrote that.
Yeah. Well, but the movie Biloxi Blues.
Yeah.
And it's Ferris Bueller.
Ferris Bueller.
And it is written by the dude that made the movie. And he talked about, how crazy it was when he was in boot camp and all the crap that he had to go to. And he even said, he goes, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, and he thought about how much he hated people in that platoon. And you're living with people at the restaurant. You go home at night. You're in the barracks and you're living with people and you're going through basic training with them. People are coming from all walks of life. He talked about how he hated people, but now even the person that he hated the most, he loved them more than everyone else. I look back on my restaurant days like that. So I just thought Anthony Bourdain, his quotes continue to kind of fly around and resonate. And I thought it was kind of cool. So I did share that. That's on the Play Pants Facebook page right now.
Right. You're a big fan of the movie Waiting, right? We've watched that together a million times. I've seen it a million times. It's got Ryan Reynolds in it. It's all about a Bennigan's. Remember all the Bennigan's restaurants were all over the place? How, minus some of the dumb shit that they do for the movie, but that really, I remember watching it going, holy shit, the behind the scenes stuff. It really felt like this is kind of real. They did a good job of portraying the cooks being completely insane, the waitresses being unhinged.
It is our Saving Private Ryan. If you worked in a restaurant, it is the most accurate portrayal of what a day is like and what you go through and the ups and downs.
Totally,
they have talked about Saving Private Ryan and that opening 25-minute scene on Normandy Beach and how unbelievably accurate it is and how you are put there in that situation. I'm sorry, Steven Spielberg, but that's what waiting is for me in the restaurant business.
It's so great. I remember like watching the first time going, yeah, because I remember I can picture every character. I'm like, oh yeah, we had the crazy chef. You didn't, and you got a chef who's crazy and he's always got knives in his hands. I never quite knew where I stood with a guy and he always freaked me out. I was always real nervous around him. And then you had I had an older dishwasher dude. And I say older, I was 16. He was probably like 30. And he'd have all this, he would lean on the rack and he'd be like, have all this sage advice, some waitress would be crying. He'd be like, well, listen, you gotta, maybe he's not the right guy for you. He'd be in there always giving advice from behind the dishwasher, the whole movie. I'm like, yeah, I remember that dude. I remember that guy. Yeah. The fucking cook was crazy. The Dane Cook character. It's the whole thing nailed it.
It's just an unbelievable movie. I'm so glad that it was made. I still run into people that have never seen it before.
What?
And anybody that worked at all in a restaurant, it's our picture. It's our movie. It's our movie. I've never felt so seen before. Like this is everything that goes down in a restaurant. It's perfect.
It's funny. We're talking about restaurants, and I know we're going to segue here in a second, but one of the things I did that my parents and my brother and I would do during the holidays, it'd be a week out, week and a half, 2 weeks out from Christmas is they'd pick a restaurant, a nicer restaurant. I had to wear a sweater, nice pants. I had to wear some slacks, some nice shoes, my brother, we'd dress up and we go to a halfway decent restaurant and then we'd have a nice dinner. We'd goof around at dinner and then we'd go see the new holiday movie that would come out. Right. And we did it for quite a few years and it was always really, really cool. It was such a great tradition we did. Just kind of fell out of the sky. I know my mom just started doing it one year and we did it for quite a few years. One of the movies that I saw when it first came out was the movie Home Alone. We went to dinner, had a great dinner, and then we went out and saw Home Alone in the theaters when it was new. It was so freaking great.
1990.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. It was. I remember that. I remember us in the movie theater pissing our pants, going, and then like all night we're just like, that was the greatest night ever. The dinner was great. The movie was great. It's like, so that tradition we'd done it a few years prior. So we had picked out like movies along the way, and we got lucky every year with just great Christmas movies for, I don't know, must have been 4 or 5 years in a row we did it.
See, when I talk, that I'm already in 1990. I'm like, okay. I didn't go see that at the theater. I absolutely did not go to the theater to go see that movie. It's the same with, it's generational. Christmas movies. We're going to be talking about our favorite Christmas movies and how much somebody that is in their mid 30s, how much they love Jim Carrey's Grinch, because that's their Grinch.
Hate that movie.
That's their Grinch, though.
He's great.
That's it. That Grinch that we grew up with watching is from the 60s.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. With Boris Karloff. That's from the 60s.
Creepy.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
And when I watch the Jim Carrey Grinch, now I don't mind it on in the background. When we talk about this, I don't mind it. Any Christmas movie, I don't mind them playing in the background. Even that stupid Arnold Schwarzenegger one. I don't mind it. Him and Sinbad, if they're on in the background and I'm cleaning the house on a Saturday, I don't mind any of them.
Right,
But to sit down and watch, to go through all these Christmas movies, it was kind of fun. So you bring up the Home Alone. It was released 32 years ago today in 1990. So that puts you at...
I was about 18 when I saw that.
Okay.
Dinner. So I was still at home. And actually, you know what's funny is the year before, I tell you, we had a good run. The year before, went on to nice dinner, went and saw Christmas Vacation in 1989. That was when it was released. So we had a run of great, the timing was impeccable. It was pure luck, obviously, but yeah, we had a couple of years where it's like laugh our asses off at the movie after a great dinner. And it's like, this is the coolest thing we've ever done. This is so great. Why don't we start?
But you're going to see a movie, and those two are absolute classics. I mean, Home Alone's not going to be on my list, but I know that it's an absolute banger.
Yeah, 2 in a row, 2 years in a row. And I can't remember before that, but those are the two I remember standing out like, holy shit, this is really cool. So anyway, yeah, Home Alone, dude. Can you believe that? How many times have you seen that?
I got to be honest with you. I have never sat down and watched it from start to finish. I have never watched that movie from start to finish. Now, have I seen it, clips and pieces and everything and all of that? Sure. But yeah, I just have never watched that whole movie. It's fun to talk to Alex about it. Alex is 32. And he said that everybody wanted that recorder. Do you remember what that was called?
No.
Or it might have been Home Alone 2, but there was some sort of a recorder that Kevin uses, and it's a tape recorder, and it like records your voice, and you could record people talking, and he ended up using it against the criminals. Yeah, was that in the second one?
There was something like that used in the first one. I haven't seen it in years, man. I don't remember it. Yes, probably for you and I would be like, yeah, that's just a tape recorder that we used back in the day. It's not like some ancient artifact.
Yeah, but I don't remember this thing being out on the market, though.
I do remember seeing Home Alone because my son, a couple of years ago, we started watching all the Christmas movies, kind of going, hey, dude, let's introduce him to all these classics, And I remember sitting down watching it with him. And I was like, okay, well, this is going to be dated. It's from 1990. Is it going to be slow for him? Is it going to be like, and he laughed his ass off through it. So that slapstick shit doesn't matter when it's from. It works. He was into it. He's laughing. The kid hits his face with the aftershave, screams. My kid's laughing his ass. Of course, it was like 5 years ago, but.
So the tape recorder is from 1992, and it's from Home Alone 2, and it's called the Talk Boy. Yeah. And it looks like a Walkman, and then it's got like this kind of microphone sticking out of it. And apparently, if that was your jam when you were a little kid, that's what everybody wanted. I don't remember that being like a huge, like a Furby or like, the must-have gift.
I don't think I saw the second one.
Cabbage Patch.
Right.
I don't remember that being a huge thing, but yeah, the Talk Boy thing, it looks pretty cool. It looks like you can still pick these up at some places.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to do top 5. I'm assuming that you've already told me maybe one of yours is already on the list.
You might have one in there. Back to Home Alone, released in November 1990. It had a 12-week run at number 1. It also held the title of top grossing live action comedy for 27 years. That thing is a monster.
Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin was huge.
Funny fact about Macaulay Culkin, I almost punched him in the face one night in Jackson Square.
I'd love to hear about that.
I'm out there, and I don't know if you knew this, Rod, but I run a pirate tour company. So I'm out in the middle of a tour, right? And I'm got paying customers in front of me. So I'm telling them stories and they're into it. And we're out there and I'm dressed as a damn pirate and right in Jackson Square in front of the cathedral, beautiful spot. And there's some dude, like I can hear him in the distance and his voice is like, hey man, hey man, hey, I got a question. Hey man, hey. And he's getting closer to me. So it's getting louder and louder and louder and louder. He's like, hey man. Like, and I'll ignore that because I'm busy working right now. I'm talking to paying customers. So you're my main focus, right? So he taps me on the shoulder. Hey man, I got a question for you. Hey man, I really need your help really bad. And I turn around thinking, okay, maybe you're on fire. You got, something happened to you. You're bleeding. I turn around, I look at him. He goes, I'm looking for the ghost tour that starts out here. Are you the ghost? I fucking turn around. It's Macaulay Culkin.
He's asking you if you're a ghost.
And he's kind of a dick about it. And I go, and I look at him and I just go, dude.
Tell me you screamed, Kevin!
Do I look like a ghost? And he goes, no, you look like a pirate. I go, then no, this isn't the ghost tour. And he's with like a couple of big dudes with him, man. And then he turned around and walked away. I'm like, I turn around and I look at everybody and they're like, everyone's like, is that the Home Alone kid? And I go, dude, is that Macaulay Culkin? And we stopped and we talked about it. I'm like, what a dick. And they're all like, yeah, that was an asshole move. I'm like, okay. I'm glad I wasn't the only one thinking that. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? Macaulay Culkin, fucking guy. Good for him. Anyway. Yeah. Home Alone. I never saw the second one. I know they made 2 more. Have no interest whatsoever in watching them.
Does he see Donald Trump in the first one or the second one?
Yeah. I don't know. I think the first one. No, I don't know.
No, because he's home. The second one, he's probably in New York or something like that. So that's
the second one. He does go to New
Trump.
York, and he gets fucked up and lost in New York. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Let's take a short break. Let me make sure I got the right. Oh, I do have the right copy here. All right. Big news, right?
Yeah.
Pirates. Big stuff. Not the ghost guys, the pirates. Oh, look at Jason's shirt. For those of you that are watching us on the YouTube channel. It's at Playpants Pod. Next time you visit New Orleans, be sure to book the Pirate Tour. It's a French Quarter walking tour like no other. Discover the real pirate history of New Orleans. Book your tour at piratesofthequarter.com. If you already took the tour, if you plan on taking the tour, if you just love pirates, there is a brand new shop page on the piratesofthequarter.com website. I'm looking at it right now. There it is. Boom. Look at the T-shirts. They've got kick-ass T-shirts for sale. They make a great Christmas gift. Everything is at piratesofthequarter.com. Jason, T-shirts. I'm a T-shirt salesman. What do you need? What do you want to know? You good?
It's not as easy as it sounds. People are like, all right, you guys should have, and people have been telling us for years on the tour, man, you got a T-shirt? I want to buy a souvenir. I'm like, no. And I just kept saying no all these years, right? And then I started thinking about it a year ago, and I'm like, I should do this. We should get T-shirts. Well, it's not as easy. I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You do it all the time. It's a bit of a chunk of work, It's a bit of a chunk of work. You got to come up with the designs. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to find a printer that's going to actually be reliable and do the shit when you ask them to. And, there's steps to be taken. So we're just getting going. Just got a couple of shirts up there. They're cool. You like New Orleans, check out the shirts, piratesofthequarter.com. We're going to have more and more and more and more. So they're nice. They're soft.
It looks good, bro.
I got a Pirates Alley shirt on right now, man. Pirates Alley.
It looks very good.
Very cool. I like it. Yeah. So
okay.
Next time you come to town, you got to show up, get the gear.
So like we said, 32 years ago today in 1990, the first Home Alone was released. I am certainly not going to deny that it's one of the biggest Christmas movies all time. Yeah, absolutely. All time. Is it in my top 5 favorite movies? No, it's not.
No.
This was
No.
tough, man. Let me just tell you about my thoughts on Christmas and why we like it so much. It's hard to get an old nut like me to crack, okay? The reason that I like Christmas music is because it takes me back to when I was a kid. It's the same fucking Perry Como, Johnny Mathis bullshit that my mom force-fed us when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of didn't like it when you were little. Now that you're old, it makes you remember things and it takes you back to a simpler time. It's very hard for me to like newer Christmas anything. Anything. You know, you told that great story about you and your family, and Home Alone carries a special thing to you. It's like, you know, your parents, they're doing great, but down the road, you're going to have that memory. It's like, oh, I'm going to always have that memory of going to the theater with my parents. That's what Christmas does to us. That's what Christmas does to me. I love that feeling too. And I love it. And sometimes it's a little sad and it's okay, but you just think about it, it takes you back to another time. Most of my movies that I really like, and I like some new ones. Okay. I do like some new ones. I cannot break away from the classics.
No.
I have a very, very boring Rod's 5 favorite Christmas movie list. I feel shame. I feel shame that my list is so basic bitch. Okay. I'm in my Ugg boots. I'm in my Uggs with a Starbucks, ready to deliver my 5 basic bitch Christmas movies.
Yeah, but those Uggs got like the fur around the top? Because if you do got the ones with the fur, I can let it go because those are kind of cool, actually.
Just like my boy Tommy Brady used to advertise. Just like my boy Tommy.
Love those damn boots. I can't roll like that. Yeah, mine aren't exactly world beaters here, but you bring up a good point about the music and the movies and the traditions, right? It's like, you know, I remember being a little kid and we'd go to my grandparents' house for Christmas Eve, and it was always wild. I just remember my parents always not thrilled about going, and you know, you got all the family infighting, all the bullshit you hear about. But I just remember me and my cousins just fucking having fun, just playing and goofing around and all that shit. But we'd have Christmas music playing in the background, and it would be, you know, I'm talking, you know, mid '80s, so it's all this old shit. You know, and all the old people are there listening to the same Perry Como and all the bullshit, right? But what that does is that's creating that memory. That's why when you hear that freaking, you know, song from when you were in high school and you're in the back seat of your freaking IROC Z tickling some girl's panties, that song is going to be in your head forever, dude.
That's why you formulate. That's why you formulate some of the things that you take with you. You know, There's a window that creates these memories and these songs, and then boom, you're kind of locked into it. But with Christmas, I'm like that. I am absolutely such an easy read. I mean, is there really a good Christmas song? I mean, I'll put some sort of a fucking, I mean, I'll go way later than I want to. I mean, Mariah Carey, I get it. That song is huge, but
monster.
What has come out after that? And I'm not talking about a fucking cover. What awesome Christmas song has come out after Mariah Carey? And that's even way later than I'd like to go, but I'll use that as my cutoff point. Don't even come at me with a Christmas song after Mariah Carey's.
It's hard. I can't think of any. And you know what's really blows is there's
wait. Kelly Clarkson has one that I really like. Da, 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 da. It's pretty good. It's pretty fucking great. I mean, but again, it's an original song. Kelly Clarkson has one that slaps.
There's very few, but what's interesting is, like, you know, I get force fed. Everyone's putting out their Christmas songs now. Like, that's a cash cow. You put out a Christmas song, it's gonna be cover. It's you know, and I'm getting like all these emails. Oh, you got to check out this person's cover of this song. It's gonna be great. It's awesome. And I'm like, good Lord. So it's like you just keep covering the same old songs over and over again. There's a reason for it. But man, I tell you what, when it comes down to Christmas, the originals, bring them. I want to hear them all the time. I can't think of anything after Mariah Carey, I'll be honest.
It's like I almost won't accept it. It's great. You're going to do a cover. Offspring just put out a cover. I'm sure you heard that. Yeah, and, you know, Dexter's singing. Like, he's really singing on it. It took me a minute Now, I played it on the air, not the whole thing, but I played it for everyone. And the guys on the show said, "Oh, that's easy. That's Dexter." I'm like, "Really? You thought it was?" Because he's not doing the upper register Offspring voice. He's
Right.
He can sing, but he did do a slowed down version of "Gone Away" on the piano, and he proved to me that he could sing. So I knew he had this in him. It's good, you know. I mean, it's a Christmas song. I mean, it's unbelievably. It's so fucking familiar that if you just don't like the arrangement or you hate the voice, what's not to like about it? You know, I mean, it's
Right.
It's a Christmas song.
I always dig around. I'll always dig around and create playlists of songs. I try not to do the originals. I want to hear rock versions. So I've always got this weird playlist playing at my house during the holidays. And people are like, "What the fuck version is that?" I'm like, exactly. Because I'm burnt on it. I've become, you know, it's weird. Like for a long time, I liked Christmas. And then you get older, you get busy in your 20s and your 30s, and you're kind of like, whatever. And then you have a kid and you're like, whoa, Christmas is awesome when you got a kid. It's the other side of the coin, and it's so great. And then I kind of like, whatever, Christmas, yay. And then all of a sudden, oh, okay, cool. It's cool again. It kind of comes and goes for me. Like some years I'm just like, I don't give a shit, man. Do we have to do it this year? That doesn't go over well in my house. I gotta say,
No,
can we
that
just-
wouldn't go over well.
I'm like, can I just go to work on that day? No, you can't. I'm like, fuck. Frying turkey. You fry turkey every year?
For Christmas?
Yeah. Did you do the turkey for
No,
Christmas
that's
or no?
fucked up. I never understood that. You just had a big ass turkey 30 days earlier. The people that have turkey on Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's weird to me.
It's a pain
Just
in my
never
ass.
even dreamed of it. It just seemed and then think about it. After Thanksgiving, you got a week's worth of leftovers.
Mhm,
So now you're even that much closer to Christmas. To cook another fucking turkey, that's madness.
No, there's
we
been
did-
years.
Ham, Polish sausage.
Yeah.
If you're Italian, you want to come at me with lasagna or something, I'm fine with all of that. Another turkey, you're a weirdo.
Yeah, no, I think for years it was always another turkey in my house. And then like I fry turkeys on Thanksgiving Day, and then I fry a couple on Christmas Day. And I'm like, fuck turkeys. I'm sick of them. I'm just done with them after. Like, why wouldn't I do this? Like, you can eat turkey other times in the year, and it's good. Fried turkey out of a turkey fryer is awesome. Why don't we eat
Amazing.
it all year round? But no, we just cram it into this one little corner of the year. It's like, oh, we're having turkey. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's part of the tradition, I suppose. But yeah, no, I remember doing ham.
Yeah, we did ham, Polish
Ham on
sauce, a lot of
Christmas.
Polish stuff, pierogies, all of that is Christmas. But a turkey, 3 weeks. You just think about it. Your leftovers,
Oh yeah,
and now you're telling me that in 3 weeks you want another turkey? Nah.
no. What about
No way.
what about like my family was always about like going to church on Christmas Day, which I'm telling you right now, if you're a new parent, please don't do this. Go Christmas Eve, go the day after. Your kid just opened up a shit ton of cool stuff.
Yeah.
You're just getting it together, and you're gonna make them sit through an hour and a half at church after all that shit's sitting at their house. They've already been tortured for weeks. Leading into Christmas, they finally get their shit. And you're gonna go, all right, let's go to church, guys. Can punt?
I never been in a church on Christmas Day. We never did that. And we were pretty religious. Now, there was a midnight mass a couple times.
Yeah, I can live with that. I can live
There
with
was a
that.
midnight mass a couple of times. We were young, and we just kind of thought it was cool to stay up that late, and we're thinking that we're going to like catch Santa Claus flying around or something.
Right.
But no, it was never even thought to go to. Now, Easter morning we would. We weren't allowed to touch Easter, but Easter is the holiest holiday if you're a Catholic.
Right.
I mean, newsflash, Jesus was not born December 25th. It's a convenient date.
Sure, it's
Okay.
combined
So
with a
when
bunch of
people
things.
come at me and they give me shit about, listen, it's the same thing. If they can take down the original Yankee Stadium, any stadium can come down. I'm talking to the people over here at the Astrodome. If anyone gives me shit about moving Halloween to the last Saturday for kids to go trick-or-treating on the last Saturday of the month of October, or moving the Super Bowl to Saturday, anyone gives me shit, they moved Jesus's birthday. So don't tell me you're locked into this calendar because you're a traditional guy. Okay?
Yeah,
People
but
move things.
It is Super Bowl. I mean, Jesus, Super Bowl.
Super
I get
Saturday,
it.
dude. Super Saturday.
Plus, you
Sounds
can
great.
sleep in on Sunday. I mean, but what it is they want to squeeze out that Friday, Saturday parties and all the shit for that host
It's for the
city.
home. It's for the home.
City,
It's for
yeah,
the city that's hosting. You're right.
Right. That's why they won't do it. It'll never happen. But boy, it would be badass if it would, because that.
Super
And
Bowl.
then I really have given a lot of thought to that Halloween thing. It's like, yeah, because it sucks the cool on a Monday night like this past year. Like everyone's just kind of like, yeah, okay, it's Monday, you know. I mean, sure, you could go and have a Halloween party on Saturday night, do your own thing, but there's something about you don't want to celebrate your own birthday on a different day. You want to fucking rock your own birthday. I don't know. I can't believe we're talking about. We've hit every holiday today. It's weird.
All right, you want to go first?
I will. It'll be very easy. And then there may be a little bit of a debate in here. I don't know. I hope there's not, because whatever. Top 5 favorite Christmas movies. Okay. Home Alone, not in my top 5 list.
What?
It's not.
What the fuck?
I know. I just sit here and talked glowingly about it. It's not in my top 5. How great is
Family
that?
memories, everything. Jesus Christ, dude. You're like, way to build me up.
Yeah, I know. I really went off on this one. No,
That's called edging, by the way.
edging. What do you mean?
Look it up.
No, because you get these weird pictures of these dudes like tugging for like hours and not.
I didn't say image search it.
Oh, yeah, because that's bad. You don't want to do that. I did that for the new Blink 182 song. I looked it up and I was like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Bunch of peckers. Anyway, top 5 favorite Christmas movies. Number 5 is a movie called, it came out in 2018. Kurt Russell's in it. It was a Netflix thing. It's called The Christmas Chronicles. If you haven't seen it, your kid's going to love it. You're going to like it. I'm telling you, I was like, oh, fucking Kurt Russell is Santa Claus. Come on, that's Wyatt Earp, dude. Snake Plissken is going to be Santa Claus. And guess what? It works. It's really good. It's a touchy-feely thing. You're like, you got that. You're getting a little watery eyes near certain parts. It's good. Have you seen it?
It's good.
Yeah. See?
Is it all time?
I think it's because it's recent. It's fresh to me. I think that's what
Okay.
it is. Because I'm
All
burnt.
right.
I am
It's your
so
list.
burnt. I'm so
You
burnt
do
on
what
so
you
many movies.
want. Your mom's going to listen. I'm sure your mom, like me,
Gonna be upset.
who
about
listens to
Home
this podcast,
Yeah, she's gonna be upset.
was all excited about Kevin being on your list.
Yeah, nah. Well, you know what? I think where the soured is he came up to me in Jackson Square and pissed me off. So, you know, the little guy can go suck it.
It should not affect the art.
I know. Number four. Okay. And there's a reason why it's number 4. A Christmas Story from 1983. It was Shoot Your Eye Out, Rodney, if you get a BB gun. Okay. Why is it number 4? It's played out. It's so burnt. I cannot. It's burnt in my mind. I like, if it's on, I'll watch a few of the scenes, especially if it's a couple of the funny ones, and then I'm tapping out. I am out, man. I cannot sit down and say, let's watch it. Nope.
I can. It's the Shawshank. It doesn't matter where you come in. It's Shawshank Redemption. No matter where you come in, it's always a fucking great scene.
Yeah, no, it stacks them up one after the next. It's great, but it's still on my list. It's just not higher because like, oh,
Okay.
All right. That's number 4. This is tough. Number 3, and here we go. Well, I
Do you
guess we
ever
have to-
put these in order before we start recording?
No, I don't. I put my 5, and then I have my alternates, and then I kind of do it as I go because it changes. Number 3. Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna put it out there in the world. From 1988, Die Hard. There it is. It's a Christmas movie. See, that's how you do it. It's a Christmas movie.
I'm not going to argue.
It's a Christmas movie. Okay, it's Christmas time. It's Christmas party. No, it's not exactly your touchy-feely, yay, warm and fuzzy Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie. Even, I mean, Bruce Willis said it. And then when they released what the Christmas stories were going to be, what each one of the streaming services was carrying, the big ones were Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus. They listed all the things they're going to be showing, all the Halloween special, or I'm sorry, all the Christmas specials, and Die Hard made the list. So whoever, Netflix or Amazon Plus, it's on one of them. It's a Christmas movie. I don't think it needs to be argued.
All right, that's number 3. Number 2 is going to be Elf. Number 2 from 2003, Elf. I mean, I don't need to explain that one. I think we've seen it a couple trillion times. Again, that's another one where I actually will put on and watch from beginning to end still. But if it's on, I believe every scene it's like it's another Shawshank where you could just come in anywhere and it's funny. You know?
Agreed.
But I will one I will sit down.
100% agreed.
I will put that one will still end up on like next couple of weeks. That thing will be on at the house here. And number 1, well, going back to my original story from earlier, the Christmas Tradition, Christmas Vacation, Chevy Chase. Number one, Christmas Vacation. And you know, when I was doing my research, Rod, this thing does not come in the top of very many lists. It kind of mid-pack. And I'm like, and everyone says like the same thing, like, oh, it's not a very good comedy. It's not this, it's not that. I'm like, fucking movie's great. Now, is it laugh out loud all the time? No, but there's a great story to it.
But it was. It was laugh out loud.
It was laugh out loud.
Forget about it. You forget about how heavy Rage Against the Machine used to be. Then you've heard it so many times, it dullens a little bit. It's still awesome and you love it, but it's not like as abrasive. Humor, that happens with humor and laughing. You've seen these things a million times, but at one point you fucking thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
Laugh out loud.
And now you really like it still.
But it's still got a great story. You know, because everyone can relate to the families coming over, the in-laws, and all the chaos that goes with it. Maybe not exactly those stories, but you can picture great grandmother and all that shit, man. I've got memories of that stuff happening. The whole thing. It's like, yep. So that one, Christmas Vacation, 1989. That's my number 1. And if that one, I'll probably watch 2 or 3 times over the holidays, like beginning to end. And plus, it'll just be on.
Did you ever rub one out thinking of Beverly D'Angelo?
No, I've never found her attractive. She's got a weird look about her face.
Fuck, dude, I think she's so hot. Are you kidding me? Especially, and I know because I creepily stopped it just to see if you could see anything. When they have that explosion at the very end, she's wearing some green little mini skirt and the white top, and you can see like her cleavage because she's got awesome warlocks. Dude, of course I've rubbed one out to Beverly D'Angelo. That's just super weird. Hot. Even when she was like in the other ones, man, when she was like a Waniac when they went to Vegas. Yeah. Vegas Vacation. She's super hot in that. Yeah. Dude, Beverly D'Angelo, smoking. Smoking.
She's always had a weird look about her face. I don't know. Whatever. I can't. Yeah, but like, see, that could be a problem. So if you're you froze it. I was gonna say if you're watching it, next thing you know, the old lady that sings the Pledge of Allegiance.
Play ball.
You're like, ooh, all right, that's a killer right there. That's what you call edging. That would do it for you right there.
Nice callback.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my 5. I've got some sitting out on the edges here, but we can get into those after your top 5, because there's some that I thought, man, damn it, those are pretty good too. Those are pretty good.
There's some good ones. I said that my list was going to be boring. I'm not proud of it. In at number 5, though, is my only wild card that you're going to go, what the fuck? This is my Christmas Tradition. The movie stars Ryan Reynolds, and it's called Just Friends, and it is fucking awesome.
Just Friends. I think I saw that. I don't think I've ever seen the movie, though.
He is in a fat suit in the beginning when he's in high school, and then he becomes this record guy, producer guy. Anna Faris is in it. She's brilliant. Ryan Reynolds is just Ryan Reynolds, but it's not even kind of a Christmas movie. It's an absolute Christmas movie. And he goes back home. And a lot of times, just like there's a couple movies that you and I both like, where it's like you're somewhere and then you go back to your hometown. There's the snow. There's the small bar. There's all the guys you went to high school with. Dude, Just Friends is fucking phenomenal. It's in at number 5.
Never seen it.
Oh,
never seen the damn thing.
Gee,
I got some movie watching. Good. I will check that out. Cool.
All right. Then the rest is boring. Number 4 is Elf.
Sure.
My thoughts on Elf is I don't know what I've never worked in television before, and I don't know how contracts work, but I do believe that if you wanted to counter program a Christmas Story running 24 hours, why aren't you a network that buys Elf and runs that 24 hours? Because I think there's a generation. Christmas Story is 83. Elf is 2003. 20 years difference that there's a whole new group of kids now that are probably 30 that are now starting their own traditions with their own families, and they would much rather have Elf playing 24 hours than A Christmas Story.
True.
Why doesn't TBS or I don't even know the network that runs. I just know I always look for it. I find it and boom, Ralphie's on. Ralphie's on a loop. When we're opening presents, Ralphie's on. When we're having breakfast, mimosas. And then my mom will say, hey, you idiots, this thing's been on 6 times already. Change the channel.
Change the channel over to Elf.
Elf should be counter-programmed and run 24 hours.
That's a great idea. But I think there's just so many weird rights now with the streaming services and shit. I don't think it'll ever happen. I think I've got it recorded 10 different ways on my TV at this point. I probably got a DVD of it somewhere too.
Good heads up. If you're trying to record and stockpile Christmas movies, get them while you can. You may have to record them with the commercials, but you're right. All the streaming services have bought up all of these, and sometimes they will still run as a one-off, but some places they'll include it with the streaming, and some places will ding you holiday premium prices for old fucking movies. They're going to want a couple of bucks. They're going to want a couple of bucks. I'll tell you right now, starting now, moving forward, they're going to want a couple of bucks for Just Friends. They're going to want $3.99, $4 to watch that movie.
Sons of bitches.
All right.
You know what's really weird though is when I've recorded a bunch of old Christmas stuff, the Charlie Browns and all that shit, probably 3 years ago. Watching the commercials from 3 years ago is so weird. You're like, what the fuck were we buying 3 years ago? Look at that shitty iPhone.
I mean, it can't be that different.
Yeah, not totally, but you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like it's a weird thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Elf. Number 3 is Christmas Vacation. Your number 1. Let's not forget that was a John Hughes film.
Yeah.
So John Hughes is talked about on this podcast quite a bit. Number 2 is A Christmas Story, Ralphie.
Sure.
Again, it's just so great. At the airing of this podcast on Thursday, November 17, Ralphie comes back. It's the Christmas Story reboot with Ralphie as an adult, and it takes place in the 70s. So he has aged in real time from the story, and he's like a 50-year-old guy, because I would say Peter Billingsley is probably around our age.
Yeah. But what's really weird, I hope it's good, because man, they could fuck this up.
I just need it to be okay, because the same reason why I said that I'm not a big Adam Sandler guy, but that Hubie Halloween, it's just on in the background, and you know what? I don't hate it. Right. And it's the reason I don't like Adam Sandler is those stupid voices that he does. And that's one of his dumbest voices for the Hubie Halloween. But it's on in the background, and for some reason, it's okay. My kid, we're watching it, here and there. It doesn't need to be great. It just needs to be okay. And then I will be good with it. For real. I'm not holding my breath hoping that it's great. I just don't think it will be.
Can you imagine sitting around going, I'm sure it's been talked about for 20 years. We should do a follow-up. It would be a cash cow. You know what I mean? Take it to the bank, but you don't want to ruin the original because it's such a classic.
And don't assume Peter Billingsley needs the money. He's been working. He's been working
behind the scenes, tons of shit.
And he's buddies with Vince Vaughn and John and all the guys, John Favreau. He's buddies with all of those guys. Now, that doesn't equate to, that they're not giving him money, but he has worked. So I don't know what the financial situation is. I just don't think he's going to go in there and shit on his legacy. I really don't. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I'm going to say, okay, he waited until the script was right. And that's what I'm hoping for. So at the airing of this podcast, it's tonight it starts. And I think I think it's Netflix.
It's one of the streamers. Yeah.
And the number 1, my most favorite Christmas movie of all time. I'm such a hack. 1946. It's a Wonderful Life. I do watch it every year. Black and white. Yes, I Cry. George Bailey. It's amazing. It's fucking amazing. Bedford Falls, the snow, the whole thing. It's awesome. Actors were just different back then. Like your kid watches a movie that, maybe like when you were younger and you're like, wow, this is really weird. It's weird, okay? It's from 1946, but it's great. The story is awesome. Everything about it is great. And yeah, I fucking bawl like a bitch at the end of that thing. And there'll be like 2 or 3 scenes in there that I will get a little teary-eyed. But the end, man, when his brother comes back from the war and he says to George Bailey, the richest man I know, and then the wings and the bell, good night. I'm crying.
Yeah.
I'm crying at the end of that movie every time.
I've seen it once.
It's my hands down number 1 favorite Christmas movie. On my list wasn't exciting, except I threw you for a loop on the Just Friends thing.
I'm gonna have to watch that one now because always looking for that new Christmas movie. Like you kind of get burnt out on these things, and you're like, what am I gonna watch? What am I gonna watch?
I will send you a check. I will Zelle you the money. I will PayPal it to you. I will do whatever you want. If you don't like it, I will pay for the rental. Get it.
Wow. Okay, that's a good one. The other one, what I didn't put on my list. Was it 4 Christmases? That's Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon, right? Is that where they go visit the 4 families?
I love that movie. It's a great tradition. It just missed my list. Yeah. I do think it's a top 10 for me. It's a funny. Top 10. It's a top 10 favorite Christmas movie all time for me. And while you brought his name up, Fred Claus isn't that bad. Fred Claus is pretty good. And that's Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn plays Fred Claus, and he's Santa Claus's brother. And he's kind of like a miserable guy, and they tell the story about Santa Claus. It's not bad. As a matter of fact, I like it. I'm not ashamed to say that I like that movie. It's good.
I haven't seen it. Okay, now I got 2 movies I got to watch this year.
You never saw Fred Claus?
I don't think I did. It's just the name. I was like, all right, that's going to be dumb. The naming, I punted right away. What else you got on your list that wasn't quite in the top 5?
I want to say right at number 6 was Bad Santa. That movie is, number 1, I'm a huge Billy Bob Thornton fan. But him and that fat kid asking him if he wants a sandwich, he's like, what the fuck with the fucking sandwiches? You and the fucking sandwiches. My sister and me, we piss our pants. He's so mean to that kid.
Yep.
And it's funny. I don't know that you could write that movie now. It's kind of like the Bad News Bears. I don't know that those 2 worlds can mix. The kid, very young. Yeah. Dude, Bad Santa. I love Billy Bob Thornton. I absolutely love him.
I remember when that came out, I was like, finally, someone made the movie that should have been made years ago. Because, anytime I remember being like not a kid when you went to sit on Santa's lap at the mall, but like you get a little older and you're like, you'd walk by and your mom would be like, you want to go sit? No, look at that fucking guy. He looks scary. Like he's creepy looking, all bony and skinny, and he stinks like cigarettes. No, I'm not going to go over, sit on Santa's lap.
Yeah. I had Bad Santa was just on the outskirts. I wanted to mention Grinch for a younger generation because that's their Grinch,
right?
The Jim Carrey one. Fred Claus, I mentioned. I never saw Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't know if it's a Christmas movie. I don't care if it's a Halloween movie. As a matter of fact, I don't care.
It's tough.
But I know that's something that people like to argue, and I absolutely am just, here I am. I've never seen it.
I don't think I have either. I haven't.
And the other thing that's actually pretty good, and it's a newer one, there's 2 of them. The Night Before, which is Seth Rogen, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, they go out.
And Anthony Mackie, who was, I think,
Falcon.
But I believe that he came in for Mardi Gras.
He's from New Orleans. He's a New Orleans dude. Yeah.
Right.
We got a New Orleans guy, Anthony Mackie. Yeah, he was in Bacchus. He was the king of Bacchus a couple years ago, I believe.
Okay. And then Office Christmas Party. As far as newer ones.
Yeah, that movie's messed up.
Jason Bateman, so funny. Jennifer Aniston, so funny.
Yep.
Jennifer Aniston, I'll tell you what, man, she's funny. She is really, I think she's funny in the movie roles. The Meet the Millers and all of that stuff. This is kind of right in line with that, but it's a Christmas movie. I kind of love everything that Jason Bateman does. But yeah, funny. Office Christmas Party is really, really good.
I put Gremlins. It's Christmas. It's Christmas present.
I don't know why that movie never hit with me. And I know it was massive.
Huge.
It was massive. And it's 80s. I don't know why it never hit with me. It's just like, okay, Gremlins. Okay. I know people lost their mind over it.
Yep.
Nobody in my family lost our mind over it. I don't know where it didn't hit with the Ryans.
I think it might have been one of those holidays. It's 84. I think it might have been one of my holiday dinner movies or something, because like I remember just being like, holy shit. And then when those little fuckers change, you're like, what the shit is going on with this movie right now?
It
Like,
was such a big deal. It was a phenomenon when that movie was out.
It was great. And then you're like, and every kid's going to cities looking for those little weird Asian gift shops in these alleyways looking for those fucking Gremlins, man. I had that one. You know what? And I haven't seen this movie in years. Edward Scissorhands apparently is a Christmas movie. That's with Johnny Depp with the scissor fucking fingers. The name.
Yeah, it's a Christmas. It's a Christmas movie.
I haven't seen it in years.
It's okay. I mean, it's good. It's actually good. It's a Johnny Depp movie that I like. I'll put it that way.
It's a good flick.
There's not a lot of them, but that's a Johnny Depp movie that I actually kind of like.
And I do remember, you know what? And I'm not a big fan of this dude, but the Santa Claus from 1994, Tim Allen's in it. That was the original one where he like ends up becoming Santa Claus, and the kids got to go help him and shit. And it's like, remember when that came out? I'm like, not bad. It was pretty good. It's funny. It's like it's got a neat story to it. It's good to have on at the house during the season. It's
a great background movie. I mean, like I said, Jingle All the Way is the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Wow. Sinbad, dropping Sinbad on the podcast right now. Wow. Awful. Just an awful.
Yeah, they're fighting over some like robot toy or some shit, right? It's bad.
Turbo Man.
That's what
the Turbo Man. Yeah. But if it's not in the background, I'm fine with it. I'm okay. It's Christmas, man. I like Christmas. So everybody gets a pass. You're trying. There's really not a Christmas movie that I think is horrible. I imagine if I gave it a little bit more thought, I could figure one out. The other one I wrote down was Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Yeah, and I tried watching that. I couldn't get through it, man.
I mean, it's just a Christmas Carol. It's the old tale of being visited by the three ghosts, and it's pretty great because Bill Murray's great. I mean, Bill Murray is awesome, and it's 80s Bill Murray. It's late 80s Bill Murray, but he's still being him, and it's. You know, I mean, it's right around when Groundhog Day is hitting. It's when Bill Murray was doing
a peak
the guy that started out mean and he turned nice. I mean, It's Groundhog Day. It's Scrooged. A lot of his movies, he's a mean guy and then he's the nice guy. And he went through a run of those for a while.
It's funny because the Christmas Carol movie, which there's 100 of them, Mickey Mouse has got one. It's a great one for the kid to watch. It's a well done one. I remember in the 80s, freaking the Fonz played Ebenezer Scrooge. Henry Winkler was, and I remember that being good. Now I don't know where you'd even find it today, but I just remember that version of
like a made for TV
ABC, because he was probably contracted for ABC because of Happy Days and stuff. But I remember watching that one a bunch of times going, wow, that's the freaking Fonz is Ebenezer Scrooge. Wow, he's a good actor.
See, I told you my mom grew up like worshiping celebrities and she knew all this stuff and she would just talk about it. So we knew that the original one, I can tell you who it is. It's Alistair Sims.
Yeah.
And he played the original black and white, really kind of scary one. And that's the one that we kind of had on all the time, Same thing with It's a Wonderful Life. That was on all the time. That's Drew Barrymore's great grandfather, Potter. Right. The asshole in the wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
It's her great grandfather or somebody. I mean, the Barrymore family has been around forever. So if you figure he's an old man in 1946, that might be her great grandfather.
Correct.
But I think it's Lionel Barrymore.
Right.
Yeah, this stuff was on all the time. Same thing around Easter. We watched the same Easter movies all the time. Charlton Heston, we watched all of that shit.
Oh, yeah.
It was always on, I mean, because network television would have appointed viewing and they would announce, pre-advertise when these things were going to be on. And that's when you sat down. It's like, okay, Saturday night, it's going to be, this is going to be on. And we would all sit around and watch.
Yeah, there'd always be the like as you got closer, there'd be the baking of the cookies and the pies. And so your house, like when I watch those movies now, I think back because it's all it is. It's just like the songs you talked about earlier. It's you're recalling that memory. You know, I can remember watching some of these movies on TV, my mom talking about it. Bacon, you know, the kitchen's a fucking disaster, flour everywhere, sprinkles because you're making cutout cookies and all this shit. But it's all that's what's great about it. That's why these old movies still stick with our at least our generation. I don't know
because you
what
attach it to all of those things. It's the attachment. It's the old songs, just like you said, and further reason that you should have had Home Alone in your top 5.
Yeah, I'm a bit of an ass on that one. So Thanksgiving's coming up. I know we've done all this Christmas shit. People are probably like, what the fuck with all the Christmas stuff? Well, because Thanksgiving's coming up and now we're going to lean into the Christmas season, which means the next few podcasts will have nothing to talk about. But Thanksgiving is always used to be one of my favorite times of the year. Now it's just like, okay, it's another night. I fry turkeys. But like, it was always about going back home when I was younger, go back to Buffalo, you know, and because like Wednesday night was always the biggest night of the year to go out, bigger than New Year's Eve, right? Wednesday night before Thanksgiving was always holy fuck. I remember being in Buffalo, living there, and like all my buddies who went away to college would come back and we'd go meet out and just do dumb shit. I'm sure there's a few nights in the Ryan basement that
100%.
A lot of old Milwaukee's and fucking cactus juice and Goldschlager were drank. I'm quite sure of it. I'm quite
100%.
Sure.
Yeah, that didn't really translate when we moved to New Orleans. We would, you know, because that was our first move. Right. And we were already kind of in radio. So you're doing these promotions and you knew that the bar business, that was their biggest night. So you had a gig, I had a gig, we were out, we were working that night. And then when we got to New Orleans and we're telling everybody, man, is this a huge night? Is this going to be a huge night Wednesday, man? And it didn't translate.
It's just another night.
It was a party night. People would go out, but
right.
For some reason that didn't carry over. That was a thing that was unique to a city that had a lot of people leaving town and either coming back, like you said, for college or just coming back to visit family. I didn't really go back that often. I'll tell you what, since we left Buffalo in 96.
Yeah.
I think I've only had 3 Thanksgiving dinners at home because I don't get the week off generally. And I won't go back because you have to do a layover flight. Going in for a fucking long weekend, you lose. I mean, when you have a layover, unless you fly you get a 6 a.m. flight and then boom, you can actually get to Buffalo by 1 o'clock. And then you feel like you have a little bit of a day there. But if you're going in just for Thanksgiving and you've got 2 days of layover flights, then you're only in Buffalo for 2 days. It blows. Yeah, it sucks. So I never really went back. I am going back next week. And this is just one of those things that I'm like, fuck it. I'm taking the week off. I'm just taking the week off, taking the kid, boom, not taking her to a Bills game. There's supposed to be 2 feet of snow on Saturday coming when we're flying.
Sweet.
But I think I am, and I know this will put a smile on your face, I think I am going to take my kid to her first Sabres game.
Oh, that's so awesome, dude. Fuck, that's going to be great. She's going to be like, what is this? It's going to be so much fun, dude.
Yeah, she's seen the ice rink. They have ice rinks in some of the malls here. So she's familiar with that a little bit. I mean, no interest to watch hockey on TV or anything like that. Zero interest at all in that. But she does think the ice is cool, and she has expressed some interest in doing some skating. So how long we make it at a Sabres game? Does she make it for all 3 periods? I don't know, but she doesn't have a choice. She's going to that. But a Bills game in late November, a 4.5-year-old, I'm thinking that's not going to happen.
That's a long time to be outside, man. And especially in those elements. I mean, I was watching the game last week and it was freezing. Ugh. It wasn't super cold, but it was cold. And our buddy Briggs, I saw a picture of him at the game and he looks like he's got everything he owns. He's wearing it. I'm like, that doesn't interest me anymore. That does not interest me to go freeze my ass off for any reason. I don't like being cold anymore. Like everyone always gives me shit. Oh, you're from Buffalo. This shouldn't bother you. I'm like, yeah, I haven't lived in Buffalo in like 25 years. You lose the the callousness to the cold. You lose it after about 6 months. So like it's only like we've had a cold snap here in New Orleans and it's like in the 50s and I'm freezing my balls off. I'm like, when are we going to get back to 90?
Yeah.
Like
I would never live in it again. But, you know, when the kid's small, I mean, I hope there's going to be snow on the ground. That would be great. We've gone back for Christmas before and there hasn't been snow. So she's seen a little bit of it. You know, we've done the snowman thing and all of that. But, man, that would be such a bonus because we're not going back for Christmas. So if we do get to see some snow, that would be badass.
Yeah, it sounds like you're going to see a shit ton of it.
I hope that they're able to fucking land the plane, man. It's 2 feet of snow on the day that we're flying in.
It's Buffalo. They can line that shit, no problem.
I don't know what they do anymore.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Rod, any final thoughts?
If I could do a little plug for my radio station.
Oh yeah,
94.5 The Buzz here in Houston, Texas.
The Buzz.
We are bringing back something called Hometown for the Holidays. We did it last year, and we encouraged and asked local bands to send us their banger. Send us your single. You think you're so good that you should be on the radio? Well, send us what you think should be on the radio. And we had, I think last year last year and this year, over 80 submissions.
Holy shit.
And this is your studio recorded song. Okay. We've done other contests before to play live shows and open up BuzzFest, and that you got to send us. Okay. We got to see what you look like live. This is all the trickery and anything that you want to do. Send us your single. And so we've got it down now to 40. And if you log on to thebuzz.com, or you can go to the Rod Ryan Show page, links and guests, and there's 40 bands, and it's awesome. If you're not looking at me talking right now on the YouTube channel, I'm smiling because there's just hope for these younger people. I don't want to call them kids, but there's just hope, man. They rock. They do rock. It's not just Gautier. It's not just, 21 Pilots or,
Imagine Dragons.
Imagine Dragons, whatever band you want to pick on right now. There's bands and there's young people that want to rock, and it's awesome. We had so much fun with this last year. And as you can imagine, Jason, this is a really radical thing that we do. 10 bands will get picked and 1 hour will be played, 24 hours for the entire month of December.
Wow.
Every band will get played twice a day.
That's a lot in this day.
Every band will get a minimum of 60 spins in the month of December. A local band, 60 spins on a radio station that's pretty popular. It's a huge, huge thing for local bands. And, you get a lot of local goodwill that comes along with it. But people really enjoy it. And we highlight that song. We talk about that song. We talk about that band. So right now we're in the judging process. So I need everybody's help to go in there and tell me what you feel are the 10 best. So vote for your favorites now at thebuzz.com. It's called Hometown for the Holidays. And it's one of the coolest things we do the entire year.
That's pretty awesome. I remember, I can't tell you how many years in New Orleans. Like I was a 7 to midnight guy for years, and we always played the local songs at 11 o'clock. We'd take the submissions. I did numerous Sunday night shows, an hour of local bands, local music. And I just remember it being very frustrating because New Orleans is not nearly as big as Houston, obviously. So your opportunity, your pool is a little bit smaller here, obviously. And I just remember getting so many things that just were bad. And I would never tell him that. I would always be like very cool about like coaching, like, hey, look, this isn't bad. This is a good song, but the recording is shit. And back then, 15, 20 years ago, you didn't have access to Pro Tools and shit on your laptop. Nowadays there's more tools. So is everything you getting basically sounding, and I'm not saying a good song, bad song, just sounding good? You know what I mean? Like, has it got a decent sound to it? Like,
no, quality? There's some shit. There's some shit that came in that, right. That just sounds, like what I would have done in a Fostex 4-track back in the day or something like that. but yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, yeah, you're going to get some stuff. I mean, listen, over 80 bands submitted. It was tough. We got it down to 40. Going from 40 to 10 is going to be brutal. And just like last year we did this, we had 11. We just were fighting so much. We were yelling at each other. This has to be in. This has to be in. And we ended up doing 11 last year. That's awesome, so we said we're going to really be strict this year. We're going to keep it to 10, no matter how great it is. We say that now. But Kevin Martin from Candlebox, he listened last year. Of course, Justin from Blue October. Your boy Brent said that he wanted to listen. Wow. He said when we get the list condensed a little bit more, Brent said, yeah, send them to me, man. I'd love to take a listen. So when we say that, like industry professionals, because they're, Radio Wizard's got a bunch of program director friends, and he's got a bunch of people that work at labels and all of this stuff that they'll help. But yeah, like Kevin Martin is like, no, send me everything. Like, send me everything. Wow. He has invited a band that won our open up for Bon Jovi contest winning band. Kevin's taken them out on tour with him because of what's happened to them in this Houston market. And we played their single on the air for a while. Hold On Hollywood went on tour with Candlebox. And and then I think they were helping Kevin out. And they might have some writing credits or some background vocals or something. They were doing stuff on the Candlebox album. So this has really been a great launching pad for a lot of bands. So we're starting it again. I need everybody to go vote, and we're going to start banging out local music. I think December 1st, I'm going to play the first one at 7:00 in the morning. Holy shit. It's fun, dude. It's so much fun. And, I know you've come in contact with a million local bands. It just absolutely puts a dopey smile on my face that kids still rock. It's awesome. It's like, holy shit. Where are you? What are you listening to that you sound like this? And it's amazing, man. Kids still listen to Sabbath. Kids still listen to fucking Black Sabbath. And thank God they do. It's awesome. Yeah. Now, you can clearly tell the kids that were raised on Blink-182 and they're sending in their stuff. But man, these rock bands, it goes back to Sabbath. It's awesome.
It's so great. That's so great. Yeah, no, that's a great idea, man. And I remember doing like Battle of Bands and all that shit. I'm still friends with a lot of these guys. Not friends, but I'm acquaintances with a lot of these guys that I came in contact. They were, the better bands, around New Orleans back in the day. And it's still cool to see them out there still doing stuff. Now, look, we're getting off in the weeds here a little bit, but like, I'm just thinking as a program director and as a guy who's been around local bands for 100 years, it's like, give them a playbook and be like, okay, look, your fucking song is going to be played on the biggest alternative station, one of the biggest alternative stations in the country in a huge market. Don't fuck this up. Get your shit together, release some songs, get some gigs together, play your ass around Houston the next couple of weeks. You know what I mean? Like, get your shit together. You like, hopefully you give them the little, hey, here's what you got to do now. You know what I mean? Like, get your shit together. Cause I don't think most people understand what a massive opportunity this is for these bands. I'm sure the bands do.
They do. And I told them all, man, and I reached out and I talked to all of them. I mean, give me something to talk about, man. You got a gig coming up. Now, most of the guys, the problem is not a problem. You're getting played on the radio, but there's not a whole lot of gigging going on in December. Right. Most people are winding down, but I would tell everybody, listen, if you didn't have plans on playing and you make it on the radio, get a fucking gig somewhere. Okay. It can't be that hard. Go play and let people, and I will talk about it. We are all, and that goes for me an everyday part. We're looking for something to say about your band. Tell me something. Give me some info, outside of the bio and stuff like that. We'll talk about where they're from and any of that stuff. But man, if you're going to be out, shit, tell me about it, man. We'll hit your socials, all of that stuff, but get a gig so people can come and see you. So what we ended up doing last year was we invited a bunch of them and they played St. Patrick's Day. So we did a live St. Patrick's Day broadcast, and the recognition of these bands, we did not need to worry about a national act. We had our own national acts, And people came to see their favorites because they heard them on the radio so much. And all of, we actually went into extra innings. I hate to bring this up, but when I came back from Christmas break, I said, I'm not stopping. I was definitely Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving. And I said, you got to let us play. You can't just shut me off. You got to give me another week. You got to give me another 2 weeks of this local music thing. And we actually went into extra innings on it a little bit.
See, that's cool though.
It was cool because the songs were so great, dude. Those are the number one requested songs by far and away. Don't get me wrong. The new Bush song is awesome. But man, people they kept calling and calling and calling for the local stuff. It was so fun.
That's great. That's a great idea that I may
super
steal
old school radio. Super old
steal
school.
That. Let's make a note right now. I'll be stealing that idea, dude, for next year. I love it. I love it because there's a lot, not a million. There's a lot of great bands here in New Orleans that aren't getting any light of the day. They're just not. And to do the weekly show and it just becomes a grind. This is something special. It stands out more. It's highlighted more. You put
they're getting played in all day parts. That's the beauty of it. There's these local shows, like you said. There's a reason that the local show is on Sunday night at 11 o'clock. Nobody's fucking listening to the radio then. So I'm just being honest. That's why any local show, we're going to try all these new songs out. Okay. It's a radio graveyard. Okay. Yep. That's why you do it. Cause you're not risking anything. You're not going to damage the radio station at all.
No,
this is real airplay.
Right.
This is real airplay in all day parts, mornings, middays, afternoons, 7 to midnight, overnight. Like I said, think about it. 10 bands, 24 hours in a day. You're going to get spun twice a day for the entire month.
A lot of record labels beg you for that. They beg. I get calls all the time. Hey man, how come you didn't? It's I call them the spin police. Every time you play a song on the radio, it's recorded and you can look it up. It's a program, and you can look at the charts and it's logged. And constantly, these charts are always changing. And these record label guys, if I don't play that new Smashing Pumpkin songs 10 times in that week or whatever the hell it is, dude, you only played it 9 times this week. What's going on? First of all, go fuck yourself. Shit happens. I don't care.
Merry Christmas.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And it's like, but every spin counts is what I'm saying, because it's exposure, especially in the daylight hours, especially if your jocks are going to talk about it. That's huge, man. Those bands, they should be bringing fucking hookers and blow like the old days, right?
Go vote at thebuzz.com because it doesn't, you can vote out of market. I don't care.
Yeah.
What fine. Good is good. Good is good. Tell me what the best songs are. What do you got for your final thoughts?
You know what? It's weird because I have talked about this a few times on the podcast, how like you take your kid to school, right? And, you got your carpool. And I don't know if you got this carpool situation going on where you go, every school's different. Here in New Orleans, there's not like a bus system that really operates like your traditional cities. Okay?
I'm in a long ass pickup line.
It's fucking brutal. I've been going to the same damn drop off every morning since kindergarten. My kid's in 8th grade. So it's like, it's been years and it's always the same bullshit. We've talked about it. You've been driving the car for at least minimum 15 minutes with your kid. Okay. When you pull up in front of the gate, the car should barely be slowing down. That kid should be getting out. Like that car shouldn't come to a complete stop. That backpack should be ready to go. See you, ma, see you, dad, and out the door you go. My kid, fucking, it's like a NASCAR pit crew. I go, dude, I'm gonna get it down to 5 today. Can you get out at 5 miles an hour? He's like, no, I can't. I'll get killed. So I slow down pretty good, and he hops out. It's magical. And then every once in a while you get that parent in front of you, and they're on point. But it's so rare. It's fucking combing hairs. It's digging around in your backpack in the back seat. Like, get your fucking kid ready to go. And then I'm on Magazine Street here in New Orleans, and it's a 2-lane, one way. Both lanes are going in one way. Okay. Well, I've seen for years parents will come around, cut in front of you, and to drop their kid off because they don't feel like waiting.
Oh, come on.
And then there's kids crossing the street. It's a bit chaotic out there. Okay, and it's not being managed well. Today we pull up, fucking streets closed, lights are blinking in the street, ambulances, fire trucks. Good news is the kid didn't get hurt too badly. He is in the hospital. Some kid got hit by a car today at drop off. And
Oh,
it's
no.
been coming for years. My son and I have both been saying it. We're like, someone's going to get fucking hit. Today was the day some kid got hit. And nobody knows what happened, but I can only assume a lot of things went wrong in one instant. You know, some parent was going too fast. And 20 miles an hour, dude, nobody seems to really care about that anymore either. Like, holy shit, how do you not care about 20 miles an hour, you know? So yeah, that my final thought is, hey, quit fucking around in school zones. School zone. Kids, little kids, you know? Yeah, some kid, I think he'll be all right. But yeah, my kid's like, he comes home today and I'm like, what's up with the kid? He goes, yeah, dude got hit. I'm like, holy shit. So now you know there's going to be all kinds of fucking, there's going to be 90 teachers out there tomorrow morning and stuff. So be careful in the school zones, man. A little public service announcement from my dumb ass, you know? It's like, it ain't that hard. It ain't that hard.
We would always do the jelly report. People would call in like when they saw a cop on the side of the road. And the only time you were not allowed to call one in is if the cop was in a school zone. I'm like, nope, you can't call out that cop. Nope, that cop needs to be in that school zone. Slow your ass down.
There's a reason. Yeah.
Slow your
reason.
ass down. You see those kids around? Slow down.
Because there's consequences. That's why my point here is there's consequences. You're fucking it up. Please don't do that. Don't be that guy or girl.
100%.
All right. I've had enough. I'm going to go watch Not Home Alone.
No, what you are going to watch is Just Friends.
Just Friends. You know what? I've been listening to Harry Styles for 2 weeks. I'm going to have to jump on the Just Friends bandwagon, dude.
I mean, you like Ryan Reynolds, right?
Funny as shit. Yeah. I mean, he does kind of play him in every movie, but I will check it out. And then if you haven't seen it,
he's kind of on my shit list right now because he's really seriously turning the screws to buy the Ottawa Senators, I think. Or I don't know which team it is.
Really?
But of course, I want the owner of the Rockets to buy that team. We need a hockey team in Houston, man. We need a hockey team in Houston. And Ryan Reynolds may be single-handedly fucking us here in Houston. I don't even know if Tillman Fertitta is going to buy him or if he wants to buy him. He said that he would be open to, he owns the Rockets, so it's his building, the Toyota Center. Why not? It's all his concessions. Why not pack that thing every night? You know, I mean, every hockey team, I believe, shares their building with some other team. So it's possible.
Totally
so I don't
possible. Know. Wow. Ryan Reynolds going to buy the Ottawa Senators. Is Ottawa not doing that well? I haven't paid attention. I got to be honest.
I don't know if it's the Senators. I can't think now. But yeah, he is up to buy. He's looking. I mean, he's got mad bank. Is he billionaire guy?
He's got to be close because you don't buy professional sports teams without either a couple guys going in with you or $1 billion. You have to have.
I think you can get a hockey team for under $1 billion now. No football team, no basketball team, but I think you can get hockey teams for $900 million.
Chump change. What a bitch.
I mean, he does. Yeah, he probably has the money. Son of a bitch.
All those residuals from Waiting. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen Waiting, go watch that movie. If you want to see what the restaurant business was really like, holy shit, it's fucking. And you'll never send food back again. I promise you that much. All right, I'm done. Check us out on the Playpants Pod social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Watch us on the YouTube channel. Check out thebuzz.com and vote for your favorite local band songs. And get your new merch, bruh. Get yourself some pirate merch.
Yeah, look at them looking.
Quarter.com, dude. It's good stuff.
That's, the kids say you got a good drip, I think. Yeah, you got a good drip.
I got a good drip. Is that
I don't know.
I do have a drip, and I think it's just because I'm older now.
I may have made that up. All right, thank you guys. 69 in the book.
Let's go. It's time. Put on Playpants.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. See us on our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages at Playpants Pod.